Well, welcome to Tech 101. I'm Eric Hesseldahl here at Business Week. And if you're like me, you've probably been invited a few dozen times in the last year to something called LinkedIn. That's that popular business networking website that has been around for a few years. I joined it a few years ago and have a lot of contacts on it. A lot of people I know who haven't joined it yet have been invited and they're not quite sure what to make of it. They don't know if it's really beneficial or maybe it's some kind of a privacy scam or so forth. I thought I'd show it to you and show you some of the features and a little bit about how I use it. So come take a look. So here you see the basic page that comes up as a result of a Google search. This is a LinkedIn page. You plug my name into Google search and eventually, as you wade through all the links, you'll find this. Now I have a lot of links stacked up around my name basically because of what I do for a living. But if you aren't all that prominent in Google, this is a good way to make yourself searchable. So if, and especially that really helps out with prospective employers. You want yourself to be seen by somebody you'd like to work for. One of the first things they're going to do is plug your name into Google and see what they can find out about you. And a LinkedIn profile is a pretty good way to start. So here you see my LinkedIn homepage. You see that there's a Business Week news feed. And you see some of the people who have made recent changes. You see one of my friends has added a new picture, so has another. You see people from places I used to work or where I used to go to school who have joined in, and you also see my network here. It says 227 people in my network, and through them I'm connected to an additional 47,000 plus, and through those people I'm connected to some 2.3 million, almost 2.4 million people. It's kind of interesting and occasionally helpful if you want to be introduced to somebody. There's a pretty good chance that if they're on LinkedIn, that you know someone who's on LinkedIn and can use those connections to be introduced in some way. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate adding someone to your LinkedIn network. I've pulled up the page here for Kyle Sullivan, who's my producer. He's the guy behind the camera here at Tech 101. And you can see that he went to New York University, has worked in the broadcast industry and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and add him to my network just by clicking that link up there. He is a colleague. And I will say, Senior Technology Writer at Business Week, and I usually don't go to the trouble to add a personal note. Usually it's kind of an understood protocol that you don't need to add a personal note. And I'm going to go ahead and send the invitation. And there we go. And so there's someone who's a colleague from a place I used to work. I'll go ahead and say, here's where I will add, Jeff, it's been a long time. Here's where it's worth doing a personal note. It's been a long time. Hope all is well. Eric. And I'm sending my invitation to Jeff Dorsch. So now what will happen with those two invitations is that they'll have notifications sent into their LinkedIn inbox, and we'll go ahead and take a look at my inbox and see what's going on for me. I don't have anything immediate in the way of, let's see, do I have any 5 action items? I've got an invitation to connect here. He's mentioning places where I used to work, and so I will go ahead and accept this invitation. And there we go, and so now I'm connected to him. So when Kyle gets my invitation, he'll do exactly what I just showed you. And so now I'll go back to my home page. And no major changes here, but we'll take a look at my profile. And you can see basically your profile is going to look an awful lot like your resume. And see, now I have 228 connections, including the one I just added. I have a recommendation from a former coworker who basically says nice things about the work that we did together, and past experience, and so on. So you can see pretty much where I've worked. So basically, your LinkedIn profile is going to be your public professional face. So you want to say more or less good things about yourself, and be straightforward and be honest. I've also uploaded a picture, and put your best foot forward, because it's essentially going to be your online curriculum vitae, and that is a good thing. So now that I've put my best foot forward on LinkedIn, let's talk about the example of gathering intelligence on someone you may have a job interview with. Now, I'm going to use my own boss as an example here, and we'll look at his LinkedIn profile and see that he used to work at another organization where he went to school. That gives you some common ground to talk about. He went to Columbia, I went to Columbia. And also see some common connections over here. There's some people that we both know because we both have them in our LinkedIn profile, and so that's also useful information. And so yeah, he went to Princeton, and I also see that he got pretty good grades while he was there, and he's also active in the Golden Gate community. So these are all things that you can use to make a job interview go a little bit more smoothly. So there you have it, a quick introduction to LinkedIn. I think it's useful. You'll probably find other ways to use it for yourself using features I didn't even cover. And that wraps it up for this week's show. Let us know what you're interested in these days. Send us an email. The address is tech101@businessweek.com. And as I